They used Clinton campaign material, never verified, never corroborated, the phony Russian dossier to rig a FISA court application, lying to judges to spy on Team Trump. Then they used the very same op research that she paid for to open up a phony Russia collusion investigation into then candidate Trump. And then they leaked the contents of the dossier to the press because they wanted to influence the election in favor of Hillary Clinton against Donald Trump and lie to you, the American people. And on top of it all, the FBI, on top of Hillary paying Steele through Fusion GPS and the DNC paying him, the FBI paid him. The FBI made 11 payments to Christopher Steele. I have been saying, and now it has all come together, the biggest political corruption, abuse of power scandal in our lifetime. This should outrage every single American. I don't care what your political affiliation is. Let me say this slowly. They tried to steal in the United States of America a presidential election, and we have the evidence. In other words, they abused their power to steal an election, a presidential election. Our Justice Department has been weaponized for pure partisan political gain. We have so much on this major development. We're going to talk to John Solomon and Mark Meadows in just a minute. But in other news, just the latest example of why so many Americans can't trust the media. They've been missing in action on that scandal. Last night, we called them out again for hyping up yet another fake news story about the 2016 Trump Tower meeting between Don Jr. and the, quote, Russian lawyer. Oh, they met before with Fusion GPS and after with Fusion GPS. Anyway, they claimed the president finally admitted to collusion. That's what you have now been hearing for days and days and days. They said there was stunning new evidence that the Trump Tower meeting was political. Okay, it ended up being about adoption. None of this is new. Zero. None of this is stunning. None of this is collusion. We've known for more than a year that Donald Trump Jr. took the meeting, because like everybody else, like Adam Schiff and Hillary Clinton, everybody wants, op research on their political opponents. That didn't stop the media, even though we've known it for well over a year and the president said it, from recycling a fake scandal 2 days in a row, frankly, all weekend. Take a look.
President Trump has made an about-face on that much-discussed meeting between his son, Don Jr., and a Russian lawyer at Trump Tower back in June 2016. The president now admitting it was all about getting information on Hillary Clinton.
He is now bluntly acknowledging that a Trump Tower meeting central to the investigation was, in fact, about getting dirt on Hillary Clinton from the Russians.
All of a sudden now, the president is confirming bluntly what it was all about. He says there was no violation of the law, but he's admitting finally what it was all about.
I think we've actually entered now a very different realm because we're no longer speculating. Now we actually have people essentially admitting what happened. The people, the people being in this case the president of the United States in word on Twitter admitting what happened.
All of this phony, fake, feigned moral outrage over a non-story that the president had talked about, we've reported, they all reported over a year ago. That's why we call them the Destroy Trump press. That's why the American people don't trust you people in the media. And by the way, that's why we'll call you fake news. And if you thought the media's bias couldn't get any worse, well, think again. In order to bash President Trump, there you got fake news CNN, conspiracy TV, MSNBC, rolling out the longest-known sufferer of Trump derangement syndrome ever. There she is, Rosie O'Donnell. Last night, literally standing in front of the White House, leading a sing-along protest against her arch nemesis. And naturally, the media was more than happy to give her a platform so she could spew all of her hatred on national TV. Shocking. Take a look.
He should not be president, and I don't believe that he's a legitimate president. I believe if it wasn't for Russia, he never would have won. They actually gave him the election. I believe that firmly, and I think a lot of people do. I believe he should be impeached. I'm sickened by Congress that doesn't call for articles of impeachment when we have so much evidence of his horrible high crimes and misdemeanors. Did they come in there and make Trump win when every single exit poll and every person in America knew for sure that Hillary Clinton was going to win? Do you think that there was anything to to do with Russia, or just a real big swirl for Donald Trump in these specific areas with the same exact amount of votes that were needed? We're going to stand up at the polls and let him know. And unless he goes in and has the Russians kind of fix it like he did last time in 2016, you know, we're going to see him gone. And that's what I'm waiting and hoping for.
Now, Rosie's hatred for the president is widespread among all her friends in Hollywood, all the elite. Last night, the West Hollywood City Council, they voted unanimously. They're removing Donald Trump's star. Oh, how devastating. From the Hollywood Walk of Fame, in part because of Trump's, quote, disturbing treatment of women. Okay, the move is non-binding. However, because the West Hollywood City Council has no authority over the walk, let's take a look at the stars not targeted last night by the West Hollywood City Council. There we have Bill Cosby, recently found guilty of drugging and sexually assaulting a woman. And then you have dozens of other similar allegations levied against Bill Cosby. Oh, there he is, Kevin Spacey. Oh, yeah, he's facing tons of accusations of sexual misconduct from more than 10 people, including multiple victims who were allegedly abused in their early teens. You got Brett Ratner. He's been accused by multiple women of serious sexual misconduct and assault. Jeffrey Tambor, Oliver Stone, and many others. But the West Hollywood City Council is saying their vote has nothing to do with politics whatsoever. And finally tonight, day 6 of the biggest trial of the century, the 2005 tax case of Paul Manafort. Well, it's come to a close, but not without a very tense moment between Team Mueller and Judge Ellis. Now, according to reports, the judge reprimanded a prosecutor in court and then accused him of tearing up. This would be Mueller's guy. And Judge Ellis repeatedly clashing from day one with members of Mueller's legal team, often questioning the relevance of, quote, the evidence or so-called evidence presented in court. Meanwhile, the prosecution's star witness, Rick Gates, he continued his testimony from the stand. Manafort's defense attorney, they raised serious questions about the character of the star witness, including all the instances he actually, embezzled a ton of money from Paul Manafort. The defense team accused Gates of using the money to fund a secret life and an affair in London. And despite all of that, the odds are definitely stacked against Paul Manafort, who currently faces a potential life sentence. This is a 2005 case, and remember what the judge said, to put the screws to Manafort, to make him sing or compose, so they'll get information so they can get Trump. They started with his lifestyle. They talked about oligarchs. Then we got the Mueller team guy tearing up in court, and the judge ripping him, saying, look at me. I think the judge knows what's going on here. I think it's pretty obvious. But because Rod Rosenstein's mandate was so broad, and this has nothing to do with Russia, nothing to do with collusion, nothing to do with Trump, nothing to do with the election at all. Well, this is what Mueller gives us.
Well, last night was a great night for Republicans. Obviously, President Trump is somebody who makes a difference in elections with the candidates that he endorsed in Michigan, where I am. John James catapulted to victory because of President Trump's support. Bill Schuette, who's going to be our gubernatorial candidate. You saw Josh Hawley. You see this close race in Kansas. And then Ohio 12. President Trump came in. He did a rally in Delaware County, which was the key county last night, and it put Troy Balderson over the edge, and we won last night in that all-important district.
All right. You know, you brought it up. Let's talk about Ohio 12. I mean, this was a district the president carried by 11 points. I think Mitt Romney carried it by 10. Well, why would it even be this close, Rana?
You know, I think that's a really tough comparison because when President Trump won, 377,000 voters turned out. It was a presidential year. And to compare that to a special election in August, a week before school starts, just isn't fair. So only 200,000 voters turned out last night. It was about ground game. It was about turning out your vote. And Republicans turned out. And complacency is the thing we're most concerned about as a party. People feel good. We have the White House. We have the House. We have the Senate. Our economy is doing well. We have to wake up our voters and let them know you've got to fight for this comeback.
You know what the Democrats are going to say? They're going to say that visit on Saturday drove their voters to come out in northern Franklin County and parts of Delaware County. I know you're going to take the other side of that. Do you think the visit on Saturday even kept this thing close?
Oh, the visit on Saturday is why we won. Listen, we saw what was happening in the AB early vote. We knew through our data that we needed to get our electorate engaged and energized. That's why President Trump went in on Saturday before Election Day into Delaware County, where we won, which was the key county. Our data and our targeting, the RNC's on the ground. We made 1 million voter contacts, but we knew what was happening. We know that most of these absentee ballots outstanding right now are Republican ballots, so we feel very good about this victory. But absolutely, President Trump is the antidote to Republican complacency, because when he comes and says, let's look at the results of my presidency, the economy is doing well, unemployment is down, people are doing better, they have more money, we have to fight for that, and I need more Republicans in Washington so we can do that. The Democrats are doubling down on obstruct and resist, and that's not a winning message.
And we got a 3-month sprint to figure all this out. But here's what I'm trying to piece together from last night. You look at the rural counties of Ohio with President Trump carried by large margins. The Republican did very well, but he was about 2 points lower in each area. And if you look at Pennsylvania 18 from back in May, the outcome showed us that those who voted for President Trump in 2016, a good number of them did not turn out to vote in Pennsylvania during that special election. It might be the same story in Ohio. The point being, turnout is critical. But if you're not getting the same levels of support from 2016, the midterms could be really tough for the RNC and Republicans in Washington.
Yeah, I again caution putting presidential level turnout on special elections, because special elections are just so different. You can't really compare them. It's apples to oranges. So when you have 377,000 people turning out in 2016 and we have 200,000 last night, yeah, there's going to be a drop off in voting, and that percentage is going to be different than a presidential year. The bottom line is we won last night. We won the majority of these specials. Look at Arizona, look at Montana with Gianforte, look at Carrot Handle in Georgia. And the media descends on these races, and they give a home court advantage to the Democrats because they get outsized attention, they get outside funding. That's not going to be the case in November when we're battling across the country.
Right,
so I feel very good about where we are going into these midterms,
understood.
especially with the cash advantage and the infrastructure advantage the RNC's put in place already.
You spent a lot of cash in that district in Ohio. Last point. If President Trump is the key to victory, you're going to wear this guy out. He's going to have a rally everywhere between now and November 6th.
Have you seen him? He wears everyone around him out. He is nonstop. He loves this. He knows what's at stake. He's willing to get out there and help these candidates. And I'll tell you what, Troy Balderson's very happy that the president came in and did a rally for him. John James is happy today, Josh Hawley, Bill Schuette, and I think Chris Kobach's going to be happy in Kansas. The president is a difference maker, and he turns out our base.
I hope you come on back, okay, Ronna McDaniel? Thank you for your time today. There's a lot to go through. There'll be a lot of analysis in the coming days based on last night. Thank you very much. We'll talk soon.